At Western Illinois University, leathernecks don't just blend in. Our purple stands out. Our students are innovative, creative, and resilient. At WIU, there is limitless potential, with campuses in Macomb, the Quad Cities, and online. Visit wiu.edu/potential to become a leatherneck and get an education that stands out.
And welcome in here to TSSR's opening coverage of West Prairie Sports. You've seen a little of Macomb, and we'll catch up with things in just a moment. As Madeline Sullivan brings it across, puts it in and good past libero Haley Whitby. And it is 1-0. Oh, opening night. I will say a hearty thank you to one Mr. John Burton for helping me get set up. Coach Greg was at softball practice, so a little late getting here. As West Prairie sets it up, Hendricks able to tip it over, picked up there by Toombs. And now knocked through, nice save by Webster for West Prairie, and tipped over by Barkley. Flipped at the net, Hendricks says, knocks it down and good. And makes it 3-0 West Prairie. Cyclones in the lead here. And we are presented by MDH. As ball tipped across, Abby Starbuck takes it. The libero in the back row. Macy Branch out to Barkley. Whitby brings it up. And now tipped, and that one a little bit too long and out of bounds by Toombs. As she knocks it over and out. And so that will bring up. Bring it again, sends it across, and that one off the ceiling by Whitby, and it will make it a 4-0 lead for the Cyclones here. 4-0 lead for the Cyclones so far in this one. As they go back to work and drops another one in, bandage up an ace for Abby Starbuck, and a 5-0 Cyclone lead. Serve across off of Whitby again. Ricochets off the ceiling and out of bounds, so it'll be back over to West Prairie and make it 6-0. Now tonight they are going to honor Coach Terry Paul. Here's the service. It'll serve a little bit long by Macy Branch, out of bounds. We'll make it a side out, 6-1 in favor of West Prairie. Back to serve is Ava Essex, serving off of Starbuck. Branch up to Hendricks. She'll tip across, drop it in and good. Right back it comes to Cyclones for a 7-1 advantage. 7-1 advantage here for the Cyclones as they go back to work. Serve is through by Barkley, picked up by Whitby, tapped backwards, and Toombs will bring it through. Branch is underneath it on the outside. Set up for Hendricks. Unloads it a little bit too long. Side out back to the Farmers. It'll make it 7-2. And at the serve it is Kaylee Toombs. She'll serve back row. Starbuck takes it in the middle. A little communication error. Drops it in good for a 7-3 Cyclone lead. And once again, I see that the scoreboard program is not any nicer to me than it was last year. So hoping he and I could get a clean start. Cyclones a little trouble with the serve receive, and it makes it 7-4. 7-4 here. Farmers getting a run back at him. Sir, deep back row. Webster to Barkley. Barkley going to set it up. Starbuck bumps it through. Picked up in the back row there by Dooley. Set up and tapped across by Vallis. Into the back row. Cyclones trouble with it. And the lead is all the way down to 2. Cyclones did lead by a 7-1 margin, and now it is back to 7-5. Serve again, back row, Starbuck up. Webster will help it out, and Adams will bump it over. Set up on the outside, tapped over by Vallis. Branch has it. Barkley outside. Branch into the net with it. And ever closer come the Farmers, Lady Farmers. 7-6, they are within one here. Serve again by Toombs, serving in the back row. Webster up with it. To Branch, to Barkley, the back row attack. Picked up in the back row for Farmington by Essex. Set up to the outside, Haggard. Now the Cyclones bring it back. Hendricks tips. Dooley will help it out. Pop back for Toombs, who hits it right into the back of Dooley's head. And good side out for the Cyclones. 8-6 lead. Serve by Starbuck, drops in and good. That is an ace for the Cyclones. The ace makes it 9-6. As Abby Starbuck will load it up again, send it across, tipped up there by Essex. Helped out and across by Johnson, and Barkley takes it for West Prairie. Load in the middle for J.C. Reynoso into the ball game. We'll get lineups for you in a moment. Tap through, and Barkley is there. As that one struggled with a little bit, drops in and good. And it's going to make it 9-7. Serve back row. Barkley is there, up to Branch. Outside, tipped over by Webster, played up front in there by Haggard. Haggard sets it up, and the spike down and good by Vallis. And so it makes it a 9-8 ball game. Webster up front to Branch, tips it up. Webster the attack, tips it over. Whitby underneath it. They'll set in the middle, spikes through. Little bit too long by Dooley. And it is now 10-8. 10-8 lead here for West Prairie. Served by Sullivan in the ball game. Off of the arms of Johnson. Saved by Whitby at the back row. Brought across by Haggard. And they'll load it up. Mason Shipman to the outside. Long tip. Whitby back row. Helped out there by Haggard. Tipped across, and Cyclones play it. Barkley tipped by Sullivan. In and good. 11-8. 3-point advantage now for the Cyclones. Madeline Sullivan winds up to it again, screams it across, popped up back row by Essex, but couldn't get any help from Haggard. And looking a little haggard there as they drop it in for a 12-8. Serve by Sullivan. That one tipped off the floor, tapped over, and Webster saved by Reynoso, bumped through by Barkley. And right back to the Cyclones it comes. Sullivan to the outside, tapped into the net by Webster, and it makes it 12-9 rather. 12-9 here as Kylie Vallis. Webster, nice save of the floor, but comes over to Coach Drew Snyder, and the lead's down to 12-10. 12-10 here, pounded again, Starbuck up, Sullivan to the outside, Shipman a tip across, picked up there by Vallis, sent through by Dooley, and loaded up here. Sullivan, Reynoso tips, Whitby underneath it, Haggard going to load it to the outside, that one off the blocks, Webster digs it up, and now Sullivan comes to it, brought to Webster, Whitby pops it up to the net, Reynoso tips, tip back, and Sullivan brings it through. Whitby, another save in the back row. Haggard going to load to the outside. That one into the net. And the Cyclones get a side out back. On the floor for the Cyclones, it is Mason Shipman, J.C. Reynoso, Alexa Barkley, Madeline Sullivan, Abby Starbuck, and at the serve, Kennedy Webster. 13-10 lead. Serve picked up by Vallis in the back row. Set for Dooley. She'll just punch shot it across. Out to Barkley, loaded outside, a flip over, kept alive. Tip back across. Webster with it. To Sullivan, back set. Shipman, right past Haggard and down. (14-10). And we got a timeout called where? On the floor, 14-10. Cyclones lead here in game one. This is TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
I chose MDH. We moved here, and I was researching different places that would allow me to VBAC, have a vaginal birth after C-section, and the doctors here do encourage that, and so I chose that after looking online, and I wouldn't want to deliver anywhere else because they all go above and beyond, and they're so kind and actually care about you.
And welcome back here. 14-10 lead right now for the Cyclones of West Prairie. Game number one, best 2 out of 3 falls. The Farmers, or Lady Farmers, depending on if you like to put those genders with them. A lot of schools don't anymore. Serve. Picked up there by Vallis. And that one, error hit. And it makes it 15-10 Cyclones. Served by Webster, tipped up by Essex. Whitby saves it, and then confusion. 16-10 lead for West Prairie now. 16-10 the lead here as Kennedy Webster will let it fly. Winds it, sends it high into the back row. Tipped up by Essex. Nobody came and helped it. Drops it in good. Bandage up another ace by the Cyclones, and they put the touchdown extra point on top for a 17-10 lead. Served by Webster. Picked up by Whitby. Helped out by Haggard, and then knocked over by Farmington. Up to Barkley. Barkley finding a place to dump it past. And Farmington got it back. And now Haggard up with it. And two ladies once again, little confusion. Drops it in and good for an 18-10 advantage. 18-10. Kennedy Webster comes to load again. Serves it across. Picked up by Farmington. Set it to the outside. Dropped across, and Starbucks got it. Sullivan over to Barkley, dug by Whitby, back row, helped out by Haggard, and then flipped into the net by Wieland. 19-10, Cyclones continue to pull away here. As Webster again, deep back row off the hands of Vallis and down, and it is 20-10. Substitution, actually, that is Whelan that comes into the ball game. Webster, a little short serve this time. Bumped across. Reynoso's got it. Sullivan brings it back. Reynoso taps it over. And Whitby's underneath it. Haggard's going to get to it on to the outside. Essex pass. Webster and good. And a big, big stop there for the Farmington Farmers. Farmers make a stop here, 20-11. And substitution, Dooley's going to come back in. Dooley gives it to Whitby. Whitby serves back off Starbuck. Tapped up there by Barkley. Flipped, and down it goes, and good. Bandage up another kill for the Cyclones as they lead 22-11. Pulling away here late in this one. Her serve. Back row. Popped up front. Tipped across. And now Barkley underneath it. Sullivan will send it back down. Put it in and good. And it is 23-11. Cyclones pulling away here. I'll correct myself. 22-11. Reynoso with the serve. That one goes into the net. so Farmington will get it back. It is 22-12. 10-point advantage here for West Prairie in game number 1. Best 2 out of 3 falls. Serve by Johnson. Barkley pops it up. Madison Adams sends it across. Down and good it goes. 23-12 here. Haley Hendricks will come in along with Macy Branch. Mason Shipman and Madeline Sullivan will go out for the Cyclones. Serve by Branch. Off the arms of Wheeland and back, and it makes it theirs. Point number 24. As they'll try to put it away here in a quick fashion. Wind and send. Branch off of Haggard. Popped outside. She'll bring it across, and Starbuck a little late to go get it. Drops it home and makes it 24-13. 24-13. As Vallis will come in, replacing Whelan. Back to serve is Essex. Essex, and that one off of Starbuck and down. So a couple quick points in a row here by Farmington, and to make it 24-14. Cyclones back to work, tipped across by Barkley. It is Johnson. Sent across, Cyclones trouble with it, ricochets off the ceiling and down. It is 24-15. 24-15. Cyclones trying to finish it off and do as that actually Farmington able to stop them again. Branch up with it to Hendricks, off of Whitby. Haggard not able to bring it across, and the Cyclones win game 1, 25-15 to put that one in the book. As that will send us to game at number 2 of the match. It is 25-15. We'll take this timeout on TSSR Game Time Live right here on the TSSR Sports Network.
At Country Financial, we enjoy serving the community in which we live, big or small.
I love living in the Blandonsville area. It's where I grew up, went to school, and decided to raise my family. I never had a desire to live or work anywhere other than in a small town. I feel lucky to help my longtime friends and neighbors with their insurance needs. It's like working with family every day.
I'm Brett Powell, your local Country Financial representative, whose door is always open to work with you.
At Western Illinois University, leathernecks don't just blend in. Our purple stands out. Our students are innovative, creative, and resilient. At WIU, there is limitless potential, with campuses in Macomb, the Quad Cities, and online. Visit wiu.edu/potential to become a leatherneck and get an education that stands out.
I chose the MDH OBGYN group because I've heard wonderful things about Dr. Smith. And upon entering the office, I really got along with everybody and got a warm feeling. The staff is warm and inviting and welcoming. It's a small community, so it's a really nice hospital to have here in the rural area. I continue to choose MDH because of the relationships I have. I really enjoy everybody here.
I was just talking to William, who is helping me here tonight. Said maybe I probably should sometime let him take over the broadcast for us here. 25-15, game number 1 of the match in the books for the Cyclones. They will have on the floor some combination of Abby Starbuck, Kennedy Webster, Macy Branch, Alexa Barkley, Haley Hendricks, Madison Adams, and JC Reynoso. As we get together, I know many games on the schedule, albeit a few of them. I'll be off coaching for some of them. And I know the guys will fill in very capably for me. Macy Branch will start game 2. Let's look at the lineup for the Farmington Farmers, it is Essex. Whitby, the libero, serve back row, popped up there by Johnson toward the net. Haggard sends it across and out of bounds. It is 1-0. So 1-0 lead there for West Prairie, not Farmington. Whitby with it to Haggard. Miss-hit that one. And you could hear that sound when it did it. So the Cyclones up 2-0. They got up 7-1 in game number 1 before things kind of got away. Serve off the hands of Branch and into the net. So it is 2-1. Cyclones with the lead here. Farmington getting on the board a little earlier. Serve through by Johnson. Webster has it back row. Up to Barkley. She'll send it a little bit wide. And down and good. So Farmington, and down and out, actually, not good. 2-2 tie. Farmington trying for the first lead. Barkley and Branch not able to catch up with it, so it makes it 3-2 Farmers. Farmers take the advantage by a 3-2 lead. Serve through off of Starbuck. They'll back row it for Barkley. She'll tip it across. Up it comes for Johnson. Johnson, that one blocked by Haley Hendricks, who says, stay on your side. Down and good, and evens us up at 3 apiece. All even here at 3 apiece. As the serve comes from Alexa Barkley, deep back row, popped up in the back row there by Vallis. Outside for Haggard. She'll lob it along the line, and it is out of bounds. Macy Branch made the good call. And it's a 4-3 lead for West Prairie. And, of course, on the varsity match, you know they're going to honor Coach Terry Paul in between games. Served by Barkley, up to the front, laid over. Webster brings it back, but nobody could get it for Farmington. And it makes it 5-3. 5-3 lead. Cyclones by 2. They won the first game 25-15. Barkley lets the line drive go off of Vallis. Popped up front, tipped over, and dropped in the midst of a storm system. A good collective noun for Cyclones. 5-4. 1 point advantage here for them in game number 2. Serving is Essex. Ava Essex off of Starbuck. Branch brings it outside to Adams, just across the net. Saved by Essex. Tipped back across, and Starbuck's there for West Prairie. Hendricks off of Haggard. Brought up front and tapping it through is Toombs. And Toombs dug a grave, put that one home. We are tied up at 5. All tied up here at 5. Served by Essex. Come off of Barkley. Starbuck helps it out. Hendricks will bump it through. Vallis is underneath it for Farmington. They'll send it across the hands of Johnson. Starbuck brings it up to Adams. And Haggard is there. Tipped up, Toombs off a Branch. Nice save by her up to Hendricks. Can't get it out of the net, and Farmington has rallied their way into the lead. 6-5 lead for Farmington. Serve in front of Starbuck, and good. 7-5. Farmington looking good in game 2. Serve taken by Webster. Branch going to set it back outside for her. She'll hit it into the net, and the lead for Farmington, their largest, 3 points. 8-5 as they try to pull away here. Serve to Barkley. Webster helps it out over to Branch. And now up, they'll work it for Johnson. Tipped over by Haggard. Barkley to Branch, set in the middle for Adams. She'll tip. Partially blocked by Toombs. Now set up for her in the middle. She'll flip it through, down and good. Farmington in a runaway in game 2. They're building up some steam. Plowing ahead, if it were. Essex off of Barkley. Hit sideways. Webster gets it. Over to Adams. Bumps it over, and underneath it is Johnson. Set for Toombs. Off of Starbuck. Branch in the middle to Adams. Taps it across. Taken by Essex. And now they'll back set it. It is Toombs getting it. Barkley digs it up. And over to Branch. Out to Webster. Back row off Whitby. Flipped over by Johnson. Starbuck a diving save to Hendricks. Hits it into the net. And the lead is 5. Drew Snyder will take a timeout. So will we. This is TSSR Game Time Live, presented to you by MDH. Do need to thank some of our fine sponsors here on TSSR Game Time Live. They would include McDonough District Hospital, their athletic trainers, and the MDH Rehabilitation Center, with locations in Bushnell and Macomb, provide expert help to Cyclones student athletes in the prevention, care, and rehabilitation of all athletic injuries. Learn more at mdh.org. McDonough District Hospital, more than hospital care, a hospital caring. Macomb's original local sports bar is Sports Corner at 124 with a focus on local sports. Catch WIU games and all the area TSSR Game Time Live broadcasts at Sports Corner at 124, all while enjoying your favorite cold drink and some of the best food in West Central Illinois. Stop in and say hi at 124 North Randolph Street in Macomb. Haggard going to bring that one back across. Hendricks a little trouble, drops it in, and the Farmington run has reached a bunch. 11-5, they have a 6-point advantage after West Prairie ran away in game number 1, 25-15. Farmington in control. Game 2, Starbuck to Branch, who bumps it over. Essex is underneath it. They'll bring it up front for Johnson. She'll set, and Vallis blocked, and they actually had a net violation on Johnson. J.C. Reynoso in. Madison Adams will go out. It is 11-6. Cyclones will have to dig their way back in. It's Starbuck off Whitby, back row. Back set, and Toombs laces it in and good right past Branch. And they are picking up momentum here in this one, 12-6. And I'll tell you give a team that struggled a little bit, you give them a little momentum, and it's big trouble. Serve. Taken, Branch flips it over, found a place to dump it home. Nice job, Macy Branch. And stops the run, makes it a 12-7. Haley Hendricks and Macy Branch will come out. Mason Shipman and Madeline Sullivan will switch. Sullivan will serve here. Serve by Sullivan is through off of Essex. Tapped around, bumped across by Johnson. And Sullivan with it over to Reynoso. Blocked and knocked to the floor. Dooley getting up there. And then all their girls about knocked her down. So they pull out to a 13-7 advantage. Haggard ready to serve. Lets it go. Back row Shipman. Starbuck helms her at the back line. Webster sends it over. Haggard pops it up, and Dooley kind of did one of those, oop, I got it, now I duck. 13-8. 5-point lead here as the Cyclones try to dig their way back in. Webster will serve it. Into the back row, Essex is there. Haggard to Dooley. Dooley off the block. Webster save at the floor, tipped back over, and Sullivan's got it. Webster up to Shipman, tipped through. One hand save by Haggard, but off the ceiling, down it goes. And a lucky Cyclone bounce makes it 13-9. 13-9. Serve by Webster, back row. That one, Essex trouble with it. Kind of did the push pass with it. And the Cyclones within 3 at 13-10. Webster again, off Essex in the back row. Haggard will send it to the outside. Tapped over, down, and in by Johnson. I don't think she meant to hit it that soft, but hey, you can't complain when it works. Serve through by Vallis. Picked up there by Barkley. They'll set it outside. It is Reynoso. A little bit too long and out. 15-10. 15-10, Vallis, and drops it right in front of Kennedy Webster, down a good, and once again, Farmington pushing it out to 6. And if the Cyclones are going to get back in this one, going to have to get on the horse and ride a little bit, as Farmington has taken control. Barkley hits it sideways. Another confusion. Someone has hit the orb of confusion as the Cyclones down 17-10 here in this game number 2. This is TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. Face-to-face, over the phone, by email, or by text, you choose how you do business with Tom Conklin, State Farm, Macomb. You can reach them at 309-837-1200 or visit them online at www.macombsf.com. Better yet, stop in and get a quote today at 1221 West Jackson Street in Macomb. At Western Illinois University, leathernecks don't just blend in because purple stands out. At WIU, there's limitless potential with campuses in Macomb, Quad Cities, and online. Visit wiu.edu/potential to become a leatherneck and get an education that stands out. Served by Farmington into the net, so a stop for the Cyclones. And some days you take them how you get them. As Madison Adams will check back in. Serve off Whitby. Haggard helps it out. Essex bumps it into the net. And there's 2 in a row. That's how you got to dig your way back in. Just keep chipping, and dig your way back in. J.C. Reynoso serve out of bounds. And that's going to make it 18-12. Whitby lines it up, sends it over. Off of Webster. Sullivan pushes the outside to Barkley. In on the back line and good. Painted the line back there. (17-13) lead here for the Farmers. And Macy Branch will try to inch the Cyclones that much closer. Her serve coming off Whitby. Popped up to the outside. It is Toombs, a little too long. And nope, they're going to say partially blocked. So it is 18-13. And the lead to 5. Pounding serve, back row. Starbuck is there. They bring it out for Hendricks. And she kind of clubs that one straight down. Little mistime of the jump. And the lead's out to 6. It's actually to 7. As it is now 22-13. Serve across. Haggard with it. Up. Toombs going to kind of pop it the way her shoulders went. 20-14. And again, the Cyclones running out of time here as they try to get their way back in. Served by Alexa Barkley. Picked up back row there by Vallis. Set up on the middle for Toombs. And down it goes again. Put it in and good. And the Farmers take control here. 21-15. Essex will serve. That one low line drive. Drops between 3 Cyclones. It is 22-15. Low line drive. Webster into the net with it. That one drops down and good. And the Farmers trying to push this one to 3. As that one, Essex serves it into the net. So the Cyclones kind of a last gasp here. 23-16. J.C. Reynoso in. Madison Adams out. Abby Starbuck at the serve. Needs to put a run together. Whitby up with it. Helped out there by Johnson. Tipped through by Toombs, and Barkley's got it. Branch going to load the outside. Webster, back row. Whitby. Johnson back set. Haggard sends it cross line. Hendricks up on Starbuck to Webster. Whitby under it again. They set it up. It is Vallis, and Barkley's there. Branch outside to Hendricks. Gets one to drop and go. Confucius Say, volleyball, who is a big volleyball fan. Longest journey begins with the smallest step. Serve picked up back row by Essex. Farmington works it around. Toombs hits it into the net. And we've got a timeout call by Farmington. It is 23-18. The Farmers in the lead right here on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
At Western Illinois University, Leathernecks don't just blend in. Our purple stands out. Our students are innovative, creative, and resilient. At WIU, there is limitless potential, with campuses in Macomb, the Quad Cities, and online. Visit wiu.edu/potential to become a Leatherneck and get an education that stands out.
We are back here, 23-17. The Farmers dangerously close to taking first one home, or making it a 3-gamer. Toombs over with it. Starbuck plays. It is Branch to Reynoso. Tips across. Essex is there. Johnson going to load up. It is Toombs. Loads up. Nice save by Starbuck. Webster going to bring it over, and Farmington will play it. Essex to Johnson to Vallis. That one into the net, and the Cyclones stay alive again as they inch within 5. Those are those energy plays that you can possibly get more momentum going. Serve off of Whitby. Back set. Toombs going to send it over. Up to Branch. Branch outside for Webster. Dug up by Johnson. Whitby up with it to Haggard. Can't get it. And the Cyclones within 3 at 23-20. Trying to dig their way back in. This would be huge. Serve by Starbuck. Low line drive off the hands of Vallis. And we've got another timeout. 23-21. Cyclones on a run. This is TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. Do you need ice for your upcoming event? Look no further. Midwest Ice has you covered. Midwest Ice is Central Illinois' newest ice delivery service. We deliver ice directly to your event. Call Blaine at 309-351-8192 for a quote today. 23-21. Abby Starbuck ready to serve it on the way here. The Farmers taking a little longer in the timeout as they try to get themselves going. Starbuck serves it on the way. Off of Essex. Johnson going to bring it outside. Down and good, and it is a 1-point deficit. Been a 5-0 run here, and they're trying to complete. Number 6. Serve through Whitby. High in the air with it. Johnson back sets it. It is Toombs. Dug up by Starbuck. Branch dumps it out. Barkley will just bump it through. Whitby to Johnson. Set up now. Toombs over with it. Starbuck underneath it. Branch up to Reynoso. Flipped. And picked up again. Vallis drops it over. Starbuck to Branch. Hendricks over, and Whitby's got it. Johnson going to load it in the middle again. Here comes Toombs. Drops it in, and good. Game point for the Farmers. Game point for the Farmers here, 24-22. There's the Haley Hendricks out. Madeline Sullivan in for West Prairie. Serve by Toombs off of Webster. High up to the middle. Sullivan tips, drops it in, and it's 24-23. Do or die time for the Cyclones. A side out means a win for Farmington. Mason Shipman in, Macy Branch out. As Madeline Sullivan back to serve. Sullivan loads and sends. Back row off Essex. Up for Johnson. Vallis sends it through. And now Shipman to Sullivan. Flips it over. Blocked. And recovered Barkley outside. Shipman. Deep back row. Johnson is there. Essex up for Haggard. And Barkley takes it. Sullivan going to load. Shipman. Deep tip. Whitby on the run to Johnson. Up for Dooley. She'll tip. Everybody afraid of making that one last mistake. Sullivan with it. Sends it over. Whitby up to Johnson. We'll set it outside. It is Vallis. Dug by Barkley, loaded for the Cyclones to Webster. Down the line and good. And we are tied. How about that? As here it comes, Sullivan sending it over off Essex. Set up, bumped through by Haggard. And now Barkley up with it, 24-24 dice. Sullivan drops it in again, and the Cyclones have rallied into the advantage. Madeline Sullivan can drive the bus home. 25-24. Eyes and sends. Sullivan sends it into the back row off Essex. High in the air, off the ceiling, Vallis, and tipped over by Johnson. Barkley to Sullivan, out for Shipman. She tips and Whitby is there. Johnson back set. Haggard going to tip down the line. In, good in the back left corner. Overtime. We are in overtime here. As back will go Haggard, trying to put the Farmers in the lead. Her serve deep back row off of Starbuck into the crowd, and it is advantage Farmers. Advantage Farmers, 25-25 tie, or 26-25 lead for the Farmers. To Shipman, off of Barkley. Shipman bumps it over, and Essex takes it. Haggard back row. Starbuck is there to Sullivan. She'll tip it over, and Whitby's there. Haggard loads it outside. Vallis back row. Barkley digs in the middle. They'll set the outside. Kennedy Webster dug by Essex. Haggard to Vallis. Down, and good it goes, and Farmington wins it. And we'll go to three. We will go to three here as the Farmers take that one home. So why not? The first broadcast of the year for me, why don't we go three? As they will make it a 1-1 tie here, and they'll load up. We'll load up as well for game number 3 of the match. This is TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
I chose MDH. We moved here, and I was researching different places that would allow me to VBAC, have a vaginal birth after C-section, and the doctors here do encourage that, and so I chose that after looking online, and I wouldn't want to deliver anywhere else because they all go above and beyond, and they're so kind and actually care about you.
Find the right cycle combinations. Simply choose what and how you want to wash and dry to help keep clothes looking their best. Intuitive Controls, brought to you by Whirlpool.
At Western Illinois University, leathernecks don't just blend in. Our purple stands out. Our students are innovative, creative, and resilient. At WIU, there is limitless potential, with campuses in Macomb, the Quad Cities, and online. Visit wiu.edu/potential to become a leatherneck and get an education that stands out.
We are back here for game number 3 of the match. As because it is an open game, of course we got to go 3. Everybody always does. Cyclones won the first, 25-15, 27-25. Farmington won the second. Johnson will serve here. We'll set lineups in a moment. Starbuck up to the net. Tip back over. Shipman up with it. Bump through, and Haggard's there. Johnson going to back set. Toombs off of Sullivan. Starbuck with a save. Sullivan hits it off the girder in the middle, and the Farmers take the lead 1-0. Farmers lead it here by a 1-0 advantage. And the serve back row off of Webster to the wall and down 2-0. And I'll tell you what, you give a team a little bit of momentum, and this is what happens. Serve again, back row. Webster up top. Starbuck now to Barkley. She'll bump it through. Taken by Toombs. To Johnson for Toombs. She'll hit it past the block and, set out of bounds. Did not hit the block. And so the Cyclones will get it back. It is not to 15. It is actually 2:25 in the regular season. Branch serves off of Vallis. Haggard. And Toombs brings it over. Outside for Barkley. She'll flip it over. Saved at the floor by Johnson. Vallis to Toombs. Rolls it over and good. And it is down. It is a 3-1 lead for Farmington. And Coach Drew Snyder picking up a yellow. So makes it 4-1 on the point. And the serve into the net for the Farmers. So a little momentum back for the Cyclones. 4-2 lead. As Alexa Barkley back to serve, ready to let it go on away, sends it across. Low line drive off the hands of Vallis and down 4-3 Farmington. We'll see if that gets the Cyclones going a little bit. Barkley off of Vallis, high in the air. Johnson back set for Toombs. Back row too long and out of bounds. And we are tied. I'll tell you what, oftentimes a technical or something like that isn't the worst thing in the world because this is what happens. It gets them going. Served by Barkley, though, into the net. And Farmington reclaims the advantage. 5-4, they lead it here. Toombs the serve to Starbuck. Sullivan tried to help, could not. And the Farmers up their lead to 6-4. 6-4 lead. Toombs again to Webster. High in the air to Sullivan. Set for Barkley. The back row attack off the top of the net and out of bounds. 7-4 lead. Timeout called by Drew Snyder, and the Cyclones will step aside as well. This is TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. Pawn Plus is proud to have served Macomb and the surrounding area for over 20 years, providing cash for most items of value. Pawn Plus is the area's largest seller of used items, including firearms. They also provide on-site jewelry repairs and are open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday. Great selection of jewelries, electronics, tools, and video games located at 324 West Jackson in Macomb. See Smilin' John when you go into Pawn Plus. My colleague, and we did get an update. Mr. Jason Finch giving me update. 40-0 West Prairie in the JV game at the half. So the JV off to a great start. So is the varsity. Cyclones play here. Webster. And that one blocked by Dooley. She'll block it again. Starbuck can't get it. And it is 8-4. Gracie Dooley powering up at the net. Serve to Barkley. Outside to Webster. She'll get across. Tipped. And down it goes. Kennedy Webster drops one home, and that a big stomp there for West Prairie because you could feel the momentum in the Farmers' side of things. J.C. Reynoso in. Madison Adams out as Abby Starbuck to serve. Essex popped up. Vallis helps. Dooley bumps it over, and Branch has it. To Sullivan outside Webster with a tip, and Johnson is there. Essex can help it up. That one over Webster, able to knock it down and good. Says, thou hast not deposited, thou shalt not get a return. 8-6, Cyclones within 2 as Abby Starbuck serves, and Whitby pops it up. Dooley with it, got a flat-footed it off a Branch. Sullivan across, off Haggard. Dooley pops it up. Whitby hits it a little long, or a little short. Long shorted in the net. 8-7. I tell you, folks, sometimes just wash this brain, can't do a thing with it. Vallis up front to Haggard. Dug by Branch of West Prairie. Up to Sullivan for Webster. And dug back row by Whitby. They work it outside. Vallis going to tip it across between several Cyclones. Down it goes. And Farmington seems to be able to get the stops whenever they need it. Serve is long off of Branch, or after Webster rather. Barkley trying to help it across. Dooley's up with it to Haggard for Vallis. And Starbucks there in the back row. Sullivan to Webster. Bumped into the net. And that is another point for Farmington. They take the lead back by 3, 10-7. Serve to Haggard over Sullivan. Brings it back for Barkley. Dropped across. Whitby saves it. And now Barkley up with it. Sullivan tips it across. Whitby with a running save. Johnson over. Sullivan's there. And nobody got it. J.C. Reynosa was screaming for some help, and it dropped in. Timeout called. 11-7, Farmers with the lead. Let's take this timeout on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
At Country Financial, we enjoy serving the community in which we live, big or small.
I love living in the Blandonsville area. It's where I grew up, went to school, and decided to raise my family. I never had a desire to live or work anywhere other than in a small town. I feel lucky to help my longtime friends and neighbors with their insurance needs. It's like working with family every day.
I'm Brett Powell, your local Country Financial representative, whose door is always open to work with you.
Haggard with the serve. Now to Webster bringing it across. Whitby tapped up. Dooley going to hit it off the hands of Reynoso. Barkley takes it. Sullivan will send it across. Whitby with a dig. Haggard up and lost the handle on it. That makes it a 10 or 11-8. As the Cyclones try to get back in it here. 11-8, 3-point advantage, and we got a substitution. Shipman in, Branch out. Sullivan, long drive to Essex. Haggard going to pop it up. Dooley's there. She'll tip it through, and Barkley takes it for West Prairie. Outside to Shipman. Cuts it long, and Haggard touched it. It was a little bit long, but Haggard had touched it, so it makes it 11-9. 11-9 here. Madeline Sullivan will try to inch him a little bit closer. Serve. Back row comes off of Essex, off the ceiling, and the Cyclones are within 1. Make it 11-10. And a timeout call by Farmington will step aside as well. This is a TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. With locations in Macomb and Augusta, and with over 80 years of car sales experience, Ron Elby Auto Sales is your hometown go-to for your next car in Macomb. On East Jackson Street, stop in and talk to Justin, Jared, or Chris, or visit www.lbsalescars.com to check out their inventory. Located 210 South Lafayette in Macomb, the Old Dairy, serving soup, sandwiches, salads, homemade dessert, Blue Bunny ice cream, and a full-service coffee bar. Breakfast served all day and free Wi-Fi. Visit them online at www.olddairymacomb.com. Call 309-837-6700 for takeout. Served by Sullivan, tipped up and across by Farmington. Dooley with it, drops it over. Sullivan there, Barkley to Shipman now. Shipman got the air under that one. It is 12-10. Vallis with the load up to Webster. Reynoso to Sullivan, tips it over. Hit back across. Sullivan's got it. Branch takes it, needs some help. And Shipman over with it to Farmington. Farmington loads to Haggard. Outside Johnson. High in the air. Tipped over by Sullivan. And Johnson with it. Outside it is Essex. And dug by Barkley for the Cyclones. Back to Farmington we come. Webster off Whitby. Hit across. And played by the Cyclones. Tipped over. Kept alive by Dooley. But Vallis couldn't find it. And it drops down and in. It is 12-11. Cyclones looking to pull ahead. Kennedy Webster burns it over to Essex. Haggard back with it to Johnson. High in the air. Abby Starbuck up to Sullivan to the outside. Barkley tips it over. Essex there. Haggard deep back row. Starbuck takes it. Sets it to the outside. Barkley dug by Vallis off the ceiling. Haggard still could play it but couldn't get a handle. And we're tied at 12. Kennedy Webster eyes it, sends it. Off Whitby, that one into the light. Drops down and good. 13-12. Cyclones in the advantage. Timeout, Farmington. Let's take this timeout on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
There's been a lot of rewarding parts working at McDonough District Hospital. I've had patients come to me that maybe have not had care in the community, care available. So with the addition of nurse practitioners lately, we've been able to add more care, and that's very rewarding to me. My hope is that when the patients leave at the end of an appointment, they leave and they definitely feel like they've been listened to, and they feel like their needs have been met, their cares have been met, and that they're going to get the proper treatment that they deserve from me as a provider.
Back again, 13-12. Lead for the Cyclones, rallying back into the advance, down by about 5. Served by Webster off of Vallis. That one's to the back wall and down. And the Cyclones up by 2. Largest lead they have had in a while. Probably since game 1. Webster off of Whitby. Haggard now back sets it. Johnson taps over. Webster underneath it. High in the air to Sullivan. Outside for Barkley. Off the blocks, and Haggard's got it. Vallis tips it over. Sullivan up. Barkley for Sullivan. Set across to Haggard. Johnson up. And Essex just flips it over. And the Cyclones pull ahead by 3. And I guess that is the 3. I thought they'd go to the 25. So the Cyclones take it home in 3 over the Farmington Farmers here. Win the match 2 games to 1. We're going to send things over to game number 2 as we switch for the varsity side of things. We'll do that right here in just a moment. You've been watching TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.